Hi, David. It's good to see you again.
Hey Jules, it's actually good to see you again, and I'm glad you were able to make it into DC.
Why did you pick the Air Force? Of all the services, like, why the Air Force?
I grew up an Air Force brat. I just love the Air Force, and I mean the big thing is they take care of their troops.
Did you know you were gay before you went into the Air Force?
Actually, I didn't.
Okay.
When I joined the Air Force, which is in 1996, I didn't know I was gay. I might have had like an idea about it, but I didn't really think about it. So I also didn't think about don't ask, don't tell. It was about a year after being in, that I came out to myself, and then you realize, well, now we have this don't ask, don't tell policy, and how do you deal with it? And for me, when I dealt with it, it was really I had my gay friends that most were actually military, and it was just separate. You when you were at work, you did your job, you know, and then whenever I wasn't at work, I hung out with my friends and we just did whatever. And it was funny because when I was in, I had some friends that were out at their unit. I would go visit them, and all their coworkers would be like, "Oh, hey, David, how's your relationship? How's your boyfriend? How's this?" Like they didn't care one bit. How was it for you when Did you know when you went in,
I
or?
actually did know. I had a girlfriend at the time when I was applying to officer candidate school. I actually did a research paper on don't ask, don't tell, so I thought I knew what I was getting into. And it seems pretty simple when you think about it. Don't ask, don't tell. So if you can be gay, but you just have to be quiet about it. And so I thought, hey, I can be a good Marine officer and serve my country and keep my private life separate. I lived over an hour away in Savannah, Georgia, in a separate state actually, so that I could have my own personal life. But I think for me, the reality of serving under Don't Ask, Don't Tell is so different from a policy. I was actually very isolated. I didn't find it like I didn't go seeking out other gays in the military because I was actually petrified of being found out. But I found that with my friends, the close friends that I had in the Marine Corps, it actually drove a wedge in our relationships and just our friendships. And after a while, I came out to a few of them, and I realized that they didn't care. They were like, "Wow, Jules, you're a friend. You're a great Marine. You take care of your Marines, and we don't care." And that's what I found a lot of times, And it's just, I think it kind of lends to the fact of how just how subjective this policy is. And with the issue of unit cohesion, like you'd mentioned that people knew that you were gay in your unit. I mean, like, did for you your personal story? I mean, did it really matter? I mean, like, did it impact anything, like the day-to-day operations of your unit?
I think actually it affected more when they kicked me out. Because, like I was saying, I was a cadet. Um, it was during the summertime, which is when the head cadets, are preparing for the next semester. And, cadets run everything, so you're doing everything for the next semester. And to discharge me a week before, two of us actually, a week before, and then that means somebody else had to step up and take our place, get up to speed, and still be prepared to go. And you lost two of your best cadets. I mean, what does that say for unit cohesion? That's what messes up unit cohesion, not allowing gays and lesbians to serve openly.
It's interesting because right now I work for the Los Angeles Police Department, and they have a non-discrimination policy that includes sexual orientation. They like recruit at gay pride events and stuff like that. And for me, it's just night and day. Like, I can talk about my partner at work, and it brings us closer together. Like when we're in patrol and you're talking with your partner, I mean, it's something that I missed out on, when I was in the Marine Corps. For me, when I deployed over to Iraq, I was in a relationship, and my partner at the time, we found ourselves stuck, because I have orders to go to Iraq, and most of the time families can actually, if you're a spouse, a military spouse, you can actually sit down with your loved one and actually sit and, write your will or power of attorney, designate them as your next of kin, and all this other stuff with insurance and medical, benefits and things like that. And, we were stuck because I didn't have that ability to do that. Gay family members, they have to go into the closet with you, and they deal with deployments without the network that is available for straight families. Would you go back in if you were given the opportunity?
It's a tough decision to make. Would I go active duty full time? I don't think so. Reserves, most definitely. What about you? Would you go back in if?
For me, I think it is a hard choice because you do move on in your life, but you still want to serve. You know, for me, that was never a question. Um, I guess it would be something to ask somebody when Don't Ask, Don't Tell is repealed, because it's kind of like hypothetical thinking. Hey, what if? But like, I would be so happy when Don't Ask, Don't Tell is repealed. And then when you ask me that question, I don't know what my answer will actually be, because I might just say yes. I'd go back. It's tough though. I mean, to have an honest answer about that when there's still so much fighting to go before you get to the repeal. In your role when you at SLDN, like, what are you seeing right now? You guys are definitely at the front lines of the lobbying movement here in DC. What's going on with Don't Ask, Don't Tell that you guys are seeing right now?
Well, a lot. I mean, this year has definitely been a busy year for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I mean, I think we're slowly on the right track. Everyone sees that the House voted, and everyone knows the Senate's going to vote, but it's letting service members know that it hasn't happened yet. You can still be discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And the Defense Department has come out and said, if you come out as gay, lesbian, or bisexual, you will be discharged under the current law, because it's still the law. And so we've spent a lot of time educating service members, letting them know, like, it hasn't happened. You will get kicked out. Don't come out until we give the word.
One of the questions that a lot of people ask regarding Don't Ask, Don't Tell is, can the president do something sort of like what happened with the integration of or the desegregation of the military back in the 50s with Truman? Could he issue a stop-loss order to just stop the Don't Ask, Don't Tell discharges until this whole working group thing is over, or Don't Ask, Don't Tell is repealed? Is that a possible solution, at least a temporary fix?
One thing you have to remember that is different from when President Truman, signed an executive order basically allowing, getting rid of segregation, was that it wasn't a law back then. Now Congress has passed this law. In 1993 they passed a law that said gays and lesbians couldn't serve openly, and that you would be discharged, if you were found out. And so we went to the president and talked to him about that. Can you do the stop loss? And his legal counsel told him no. They're like, because of the current law, we can't do that, and we're not going to do that. And for us, that pretty much ended it there. I mean, it's not worth, yes, we could try to argue with him, but I mean, pretty much when his legal counsel had just told him, no, that's not going to happen, then we knew we had to work on the legislative part. And also, I think you have to look at the way politics play out right now. It would have gave Congress an out, because if he would have signed a stop loss, Congress was off the hook. If he was able to, and then gays and lesbians could serve, then Congress wouldn't have done anything. Congress would have just been like, well, gays and lesbians are serving openly, so why do we have to do anything? And then, because it doesn't get rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Yeah,
He's
still
just
on the books.
temporary. It's just a temporary. It's a Band-Aid on something that Congress needs to get rid of. They gave us this horrible law in 1993. It's their job to get rid of it. We didn't need it back then, and I think a lot of them are starting to realize that it was a bad law back then. And I think we have to go forward with the process that we have now, which
With the legislation.
Right. Well, Jules, it was fantastic seeing you again. I'm glad we got to discuss Don't Ask, Don't Tell, as we've done many times, but it was great seeing you. I'm sorry I missed you in New York last weekend. But.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see you again, and I'm sure we'll meet again. Definitely been an honor trying to fight this fight with you. I think it's more personal for us in a lot of ways than a lot of people realize. So thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you for everything, and looking forward to that. The big party when we actually get this finished and everyone's able to serve openly.
All right. Well, take care. I'll see you soon.
Yes.
All right.